Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello and welcome back to the channel where today you join me at the Sachsenring with BMW M for a first drive in this. Behind me we have a camouflaged prototype of the brand new BMW M3, and today I'm lucky enough to jump into the driver's seat to take this car out on track here at the Sachsenring for a first experience, a pre-drive of what it is going to be like. Of course, it will be a few more months until we see the camouflage fully removed and get a complete look at the new generation of the M3 and the M4, but today there are a few details I can tell you, as well as bringing you along for the experience of what this is like. Let's talk about it then before we head out on track for a first drive in the all-new M3. As you can imagine at the moment, the details about the new car are quite scarce, but I've been able to learn a few things, and in particular about the different versions that BMW M are going to be launching of both the M3 as the saloon and also the M4 as the coupe. And we start with this car in its purest form, BMW appealing to driving enthusiasts by presenting both as rear-wheel driven 480 horsepower cars with manual gearboxes. Now in the future will come the competition models, which will introduce the automatic, the 8-speed M Steptronic, available as both a rear-wheel drive and also as the 4-wheel drive with M xDrive. But today it is about pure driving pleasure, the rear-wheel drive version. So let's take a quick talk about this, as much as I can tell you so far. So the engine is a new unit versus the previous M3, M4. It's a development of the power plant found in the X3M and the X4M, which means it's the 3-litre inline-6 twin power turbo, but in this case making 480 horsepower. The competition models will make 510. Torque at a guess is going to be around 600. Of course, different configurations, whether it's manual or all-wheel drive, depending on the setups that are required. We can't tell too much. I mean, we've seen the new 3 Series, but obviously the camo of this is pretty heavy. We know that behind here lies those grills, which I'm sure are going to be discussed to quite an extent, but at the moment we can't see all that much of them. You can see it sitting on 19-inch wheels at the front and 20s at the rear, the optional upgraded size, so a staggered setup. We've got 275 wide tyres at the front, 285 wide at the rear, so quite a wide setup for the fronts here. Inside, well, I can talk a bit more while I'm driving, but we've got M1 and M2 modes to change the configurations, to experiment around and play with those while we take this out on track here at the Sachsenring and hear plenty of what this car sounds like. But, well, we've got to learn as we go and get an experience for the new M3. I've chosen to drive the M3, but the M3 and M4's dynamics should be absolutely spot on to one another. You can see we've got these bulked out wide arches, we've got a gurney flap here on the boot lid, we've got the signature quad tailpipes and chunky tailpipes down there at the back. But yes, this is going to be a learning experience, a pre-drive, first opportunity here in this car. So let's come through then, fire it up, get it into life, and then we will be heading out to go and drive this on the Sachsenring, which sounds pretty crazy to me. So all camouflaged inside here. We've got the 3 pedals down there, we've got the shifter. Let's start it up, prototype car of course. Alright, oh look, we've got the setup modes. So, let's do this then, and experience with our M1 and M2 buttons, the new M3. Before I'm out on track, the cars are currently doing a previous session. We've got a pace car, and the M4, and then I think the M3. You can hear full power there in at the M4. And the M3 following it as well from that newly developed engine, the 3-litre inline-6, which I'm going to experience in a moment. Now, before we jump on board the prototypes for the lap, we're actually going to drive with the previous generation M4 with the DCT, the dual clutch, to get a little bit of a feel, but I will go do that and then join you back inside the new M3 to experience it here on the Sachsenring. My first time driving this track, so let's go get set up, get ready, and it'll be time to drive. Back in come the cars. There's blue flashing light on the pace M4, followed by the other M4. Obviously not too much to see. M3, M4 sharing a lot in common. A few burbles out of the M4, obviously the coupe version, saloon for the M3. So I need to get my cameras ready, jump on board, and we will go. Okay then, here we go. So on board the new M3. We are at the moment in M1 mode, which has the engine in sport. We've got rev matching on, the suspension is in sport plus, steering in sport, and the integrated braking assist is also in sport. So we're going to use the 2 different modes. As you can see from this, we have the rev matching. You can choose whether it's on or off. You can configure these settings, M1 and M2. We've also got the track display, which is pretty cool. Obviously a lot of the controls are all covered up, so we can only use these certain things to learn about today. But in a second, we're going to be heading out. M4 is in front of me. Get myself comfortable. Feels pretty good, to be honest, how we are at the moment. And then go for a short pre-drive in this, which is really quite exciting. Gearbox, clutch, perfect. Right. Oh, we've got stop start, obviously. Let's get the engine back on. There we go. Okay. In M1 mode then, let's head on out, manual gearbox. After driving a few laps in the DCT M4 before, we've got the auto rev matching on at the moment. I need to catch up a little bit. Oh, okay, steering feels good. This is literally first impressions. I've just jumped behind the wheel on a very challenging circuit to begin with here at the Sachsenring. I've got the head-up display as well with all the information I want in front of me. Turn it in, feel the balance. Oh yeah, lots of G-forces straight away. We're going to go through the different modes, put it up into M2 with M dynamic mode shortly. I need to catch up with the guys in front though, who are a little bit on it, ahead of me at the moment. Nothing like the test of jumping into an unfamiliar car, out on track, and trying to get an instant feel for it. But if a car like this is welcoming from the off, you feel very at home, and this really does. Obviously 480 horsepower there as I put my foot down flat. Plenty of power. Very, very nice feel from the gearbox as well. So we come down the back straight area. In towards a heavy braking zone. Confident braking, auto blip perfect. Starting to feel it move around a little bit. And this is with traction fully on. DSC is fully on at the moment. They need these prototypes. We can't risk anything happening to them. On the anchors, in towards T1, all over the crest. This track has all of these undulations, lots of torque as well. Like I said, less torque to be expected from the rear wheel drive models than the four wheel drive, the main difference being the weight. Four wheel drive adding the weight for the front drivetrain. Moving around a little bit. This is a fantastic first experience. So this is in M1. Like I've said, you can configure and set it up exactly how you like it. There we go. The instructions to put it into M2. So you press it again to confirm. So now we're in M dynamic mode. It confirms that on the central screen. So a little bit more caution needed. Oh, put it up into sixth there, my bad. Down to second gear. And this is where, obviously, I've got to be very aware. The traction will just allow the car to slip and slide around a touch more. To go down these tricky downhill sections. Ready to come back up the hill here. This is where I might feel it start to slide around. Yes, there we go. Controlled, delicate amounts of slip underneath the back end. You can really dance around with this. Right, it's my turn to overtake the M4. Give him a full rev upshift. Come in back then towards T1. I'm going to try and hold it more in gear, feel some more of the torque this time around. So get over there. Oh, feel the back sliding around, moving underneath. We are definitely going at a very, very fast pace instantly, which makes my life a little bit difficult to concentrate on what's going on an unfamiliar circuit. When I go quiet, it means my brain is working. want from these kind of things. Okay, the speed is making me have to think, so I haven't changed any of the settings yet. Obviously the steering at the moment is in comfort, even though we're driving at a fairly brisk pace. And there it would have liked to have been one gear down, that's for sure. Come round, uphill, very sideways. I feel if you turn it all off, this car is going to have no complaints about cool down that. It's going to have no complaints about going very, very sideways. Wow. Let me just put it back into M1 for a moment. There we go. Right, let's actually go. Oh, we can't really. Well, I could start playing with the settings. I'm wearing gloves at the moment, so I can't use the touch screen to change them all. But rev matching, I think that's, well, personal preference normally. I've enjoyed having it on now, just so I've not had to think too much about it. The pedals feel in a great position if you do want to do it yourself. All easy enough on that front. Yeah, that was quite. I'm a little bit hot. That was quite a drive, quite a hard workout to navigate this car around the track like this. Steering wheel feels great. In fact, this is a step on from having driven the, like I said, driven the old car just before. This is noticeably a notch up. It's quick, and you feel like you can chuck it around really fast as well. As we come back round then to go into the pits, what I love about this kind of thing is how much you can set this up to be exactly how you want it. You can do all of these settings down to the integrated brake assist, like in the M5 and the M8, where you can change the feel of the brake pedal. You can change the amount of brake pedal pressure that you need to get full or maximum braking. Obviously you still have the same amount of braking overall, but you can adjust and change the exact amount or the exact feel and response of it. Oh, wow, that was quite an intense first drive. With the cars back here in the pit lane, an observation of the M4 at the front is that has the sunroof. The M3 and the M4 at the back are both with carbon fibre roofs, as was on the previous generation, so different markets, different specs, of course. But a big thing, the braking. The M carbon ceramics, really, really solid braking feel. Obviously helped as well by having the thick front tyres, giving the car a lot of grip, and also quite playful. Obviously we didn't turn traction fully off. They're valuable prototype cars that we've been able to have a first drive experience with. Just looking around at some more of the details, obviously the M mirrors that we have there coming towards the front. We will be able to see more of this grille with its much taller grille segments in the not too distant future. See a few openings for cooling that we have here, or whatever's going on, the hidden bodywork behind that front kind of skin that they have over the top of it. And we'll be able to learn about that when the covers fully come off. You can see they've got these shape roof sections as well, the shape roof sections over the top for airflow. And as I mentioned, the gurney that the car has at the back, and then the new 3D tail lights and headlights as introduced with the new 3 Series. And I went to check out the 330i and the M340i as well. So, first drive in this. Pretty impressive performance out on track. It has to be said, all that's left now is to peel away some of this camouflage and see exactly what lies underneath the new M3 and the M4. I think we should have a quick sound check though before we park this one back up. Those traditional kind of overrun burbles that you get out of the back of it from that new engine, with of course the M Sports exhaust that it will no doubt have installed. The M3 is being used then for some photo shoots, but remember, this is just the start. The 480 horsepower rear wheel drive manual version, the future, will also contain the competition, the M Steptronic, the 8-speed automatic, and M xDrive in the 4-wheel drive variant too. It's going to be quite interesting to see what those are like, the different driving experiences. 480 horsepower, 510, but the weight penalty of the 4-wheel drive system. In any case, I look forward to seeing the full car and sharing that with you as well before too long. Today, a first drive, a very special opportunity to get a small feel for what it's like and hopefully share some of that experience with you, jumping straight in, out on the track, a quick few laps and back in, just to gather a first impression. I think there are going to be some cool details that we don't yet know about in full. So stay tuned, but thank you very much for watching. Thank you to BMW M for the opportunity as always, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Cheers!